One of our brothers, he's got a Persian, I believe it's a Persian mulberry tree, and he brings the mulberries to the gathering on Sabbath, and they're especially good mulberries. I hadn't seen those kind of mulberries until I came out west here. But because he had brought a bunch of these mulberries in and how much we enjoy them, I remembered a story of years ago on the road, traveling with one of our brothers, Jacob. Jacob's since passed on, but Jacob and I walked through a lot of things together. We got to experience a lot of miracles together. Many different journeys, actually. We connected many times over the years. And this was early on. I don't remember exactly when, but it was early on in the first 7 years of my walk, and probably in the first three or so. And the two of us had come up from Florida, and we were working our way up the coast, the eastern coast. And of course, when I was young, I was very unaware of the things growing from the ground, the trees, the fruit trees. I mean, I ate things from trees, but I was unaware of actually picking something off a tree. But as a brother walking in faith in the wind, oh yeah, that's part of your life, and what a high it is. I remember the very first time I picked fruit from a tree. It was actually in Santa Cruz, and they were cherry plums. And I climbed up in this tree, and I'm a brand new brother. I'm like early 20s, and I am in heaven. I mean, this is on a main street right there in Santa Cruz, and here's this tree full of plums, beautiful plums, little guys. And I climb up in the tree. Now you got to picture this, barefoot, white robe. I got my bedroll down on the ground on the bottom of the tree. I'm in downtown Santa Cruz. And I'm up in this tree. And, I was in heaven. And that's the early parts of my experiencing. That's actually the first one I can remember. So here I am a few years later, 2 or 3 years later, I'm traveling with Jacob, and we discover mulberries. Now, Jacob knew about mulberries. I didn't. And so we start up from Florida, and the whole eastern coast has mulberry trees everywhere. Once you become aware, now we're springtime, and mulberries are an early harvest. Like right now, where we are, it's harvesting right now, beginning. And so we're working our way north in the spring, and we start checking out the mulberry trees. And, we're feasting on them everywhere. And we're becoming connoisseurs. We see all different kinds of mulberries. There's ones that are dark purple. There's ones that are more reddish purple. And then there's the white ones. And what we discovered that the white ones were the sweetest. They were like honey. They weren't quite as juicy. They were usually bigger. And the trees didn't have as many fruit on them, generally speaking. The ones that we were running into, it didn't matter. I mean, we were into all of it. I mean, Jacob and I, we just, if it was a red one or a purple one, and we were scarfing them down, and we were having a blast with them, and it was a really sweet communion between us. So we're working our way up the coast, and we had, like I say, became connoisseurs. We're checking every tree, and we are rating them according to what we think. And we're having fun with it, and it's part of our pilgrimage. So we get up to Syracuse, and we're walking in a poor neighborhood. And, we're barefoot, and we're walking together down the sidewalks cracked up, and the place is a pretty rough area. And we're looking down, and all of a sudden, squish, squish between our toes, we look down, and white mulberries carpeted on the ground. We look up, and here's this tree, and we had never seen a tree like it. Big old trunk, loaded with white, huge mulberries. The very best of all the trees we have seen so far. So we got our bowls out, and we're raptured. We're in there picking these mulberries, and we're laughing and having a blast, and here comes this young brother. Now, when I say young, between 11 and 13, somewhere in there. I'm thinking 12, 13 years old. He told us at the time. I just don't remember perfectly. And he comes up to us concerned, and he says, "Oh, you can't be eating those things. They're poison." We're like, "No, brother. You happen to have, and we are connoisseurs, you happen to have the best mulberry tree we have ever seen right here, growing out of the concrete." And so, we're eating them, and he believes us, and he eats some, and he realizes, that, this is a gift from the Father. Well, it ends up, we have a little connection with this brother, and he lights right up, and he takes us home. And when he takes us home, he tells his mom he wants to go with us. Now, we've given him a witness, and this brother is special. We could tell that right away. He really was the mulberry tree. He was loaded. Little guy, loaded. And evidently he was having some trouble in school. And when we met his mom, and he told her that he wanted to go with us. And she was a single mother. She said that she was prepared for that, and that it would be okay with her. And so we went, okay, well, we'll check it out. Do you have any white material, sheets that we could use to sew him a robe? She brought out all her sheets that she had, and there was not one white sheet that we could find, even amongst them all, that would sew a little robe for this little guy. They were all tatters. I mean, these were poor people. They had very little. And it was an amazement. She said that she knew her son was being prepared for something special. And we ended up spending a few days with them. The brother took us to a garden they'd been tending for another lady. He put on one of our army blankets. He was totally at home with us. And he had friends and relatives coming over while we were there, witnessing to them what he was revelating while we were there. Jacob and I were offering up, taking him down the road, and what came in from Amen was, it wasn't a good time to take a little brother like that down the road. So we told him that we would sew him a little model robe out of some of the material. We made a little miniature robe, showed him how it worked, and then when he was ready, he could use that to make a bigger one. What a beautiful connection. You're going down the road in faith. The stories, I have so many. And all the brothers and sisters who walked, every one of us, are loaded. Now, I've got a good memory for them because I've told these stories for years. I'd have these experiences, and then I would start sharing them as I go down the road. So then they get an instilling in there. So I have a lot. But all of them, they're reflections of the kingdom of heaven on earth. You walk down the road in the presence of the Almighty, and see, it's no different as you get, we have the time that we actually got to pilgrimage like that. And I may still have some left in me, get some younger brothers and sisters here who want to go down the road. I got a couple of weeks I could go and lay on the ground. It's not so easy anymore for me. When you're younger, it's much easier to lay on the ground every day and appreciate it. But I'm able to do it, and I'm willing. I am definitely willing because, it's in all our hearts to multiply what the Father gave us, the walk. And the walk is super simple, but it's absolutely personal. And if people were to do it, anyone is to do a walk of faith in the image that Amen gave us, which is the exact image that Jesus gave us. Super simple. It's faith. It's all about faith, living in the moment, in the wind, in faith. And then you end up with these stories. You watch the Father produce these beautiful, what we would call movies, experiences. And you get loaded. And they're the foundation of your life. They're the proof of God's Spirit indwelling in you and with you and leading you and working through you and around you. You can't deny it. Yeah, prayers for the multiplication of what the Father has given, filling the earth. Amen.